from the vault, high atop the pastoral center of the Diocese of Camden, you're listening to Talking Catholic.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Catholic. It's Kari, Janisse. I'm back here again with my good friend, Mike Walsh.
And we're, let's see, if you were listening last week, we were in a very, not a too noisier restaurant, though it did get noisier at the end of the episode.
The lunch crowd picked up.
Exactly. But now we're back in your stomping grounds, back in Glassboro, Newman House. Although this time we're recording at the in your office.
Yeah.
So because you guys had some air conditioning and some sump pump issues.
Everything that homeowners get, we get here too, because we literally are a house. So we've had some house issues, but that's all right. They'll be all fixed up before the students come, which is in a mere 2 weeks.
We've never talked about this, and actually I don't know the answer to it. Do you take donations here? Do you is there a way that if somebody wanted to support Newman House?
Yeah, people do it often, and it's through St. Bridget University Parish. Okay. So we'll have a lot of parishioners come up to us and say, I want to give something to the students and to help the students, and it goes through St. Bridget University Parish. So I just say, write a check to St. Bridget University Parish. In the memo, put Catholic Campus Ministry, Newman House, anything to that effect, and it goes to us. So a lot of times for retreats, we'll get people sponsoring students. What else? For meal donations, because every Wednesday night, we're feeding like 50 students. That's easily $100 a week on food, and that's doing it super, super cheap. But I would say more like $150 if you want to have a decent meal for 100 or for 50 students. So yeah, we'll get donations that way. So if you want to help with our air conditioning problems.
Well, I'm a parishioner here, so you guys are always getting my money.
Yeah. But, it's different from the parish.
Oh, that is true.
It's two different accounts. Yeah, it's very separate. So.
What's the website for the parish?
St. Bridget Up for University Parish. So STBRIDGETUP.com.
Okay.
Yeah, because we are a university parish, but it's separate, like two bank accounts. When it has to go with one for students and one for the parish's needs, like our new roof that we're getting on that as well.
Also very important.
Yeah.
But all the times we've had you on and you've co-hosted episodes, we've never really. To our credit, we've never asked the listeners to send you money.
It's okay.
But that if you've ever been so inclined, because that Newman House here at Rowan University does a ton of work, and particularly in the community and in the larger college community. If you did want to donate a little, go right ahead.
I'll take it. We also do the big fundraising event on Giving Tuesday. We have our own page for Catholic Campus Ministry and for the Newman House. So that's another way. It's a couple months away, but our own dedication page, if you want to go online and do it, that's the best way. And then we love the old school Italians. hand you a little $100 bill when they shake your hand. I love that after Mass. I'm like, I'll take it. I'll get this right over to our bookkeeper.
Very old school. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you are in prep mode right now because you're just a few weeks away from opening the doors.
Yeah, gearing up right now. Yeah. Speaking of service, that was one of the big projects I did today was finalizing all of our service opportunities throughout the semester and trying to balance them out different times, different locations, different places. Something that I was very proud of is over the last school year, the 23-24 school year, we had over 300 service hours logged as a community, which was pretty amazing. Between the parish, the greater community of St. Michael's School, we do a regular club there, going to different food places, food pantries, giving out food at St. Joseph's House, Father Benedict House, Ronald McDonald House, just a lot of Helpers, New Jersey. We logged over 300 between all of our students, and that was something that our student government also recognized as well, and it was helpful actually to help our budget over with we do have a small budget through the Student Government Association as well, because we are an extension of the school community there and the student government there. So that was helpful. They were really impressed. We don't do it for the accolades. We don't do it for the money, but it was really nice to see the recognition in that way. And because we have to log them for the student government, I was able to see on paper, black and white, oh my gosh, our students, they rocked it. They did really well. So that was nice. It's helpful because each student counts for their hours. So we send, 8 students to Ronald McDonald House for 3 hours, 24 right there. So it's easy, to rack them up. But at the same time, we offer a lot. And we're required to do, I think, something like 10 a semester. Something very simple. It's not a lot. And we did over and beyond what we needed to do.
Well, that is good to hear. And, I tell people all the time, if they want to see the work you're doing, that the best place to do it is on Instagram, because not only does Rowan Catholic have one of the best Instagram accounts, but it's also one of the most active. And you guys do a great job of, not in a vain way, but in letting the community know way, all the great work that's done here. So I highly encourage people to follow you on Instagram at Rowan Catholic.
Yes, and also, as I mentioned, we're connected to the parish, so the Instagram that's connected to the page is the parish page as well. So St. Bridget University Parish, you can find us if you're not on Instagram, on Facebook as well.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, I am looking forward to it. I mentioned, I forget on some podcast previously that my son was starting his college tours. We did our first college tour here, as a matter of fact, at Rowan.
I saw that.
A mere few blocks from our house.
Pages, I saw that on yours, and I was like, "Woohoo! I know that building."
Yep, it was nice. It was a good experience for him. It was. I mean, my wife is a graduate. My parents are graduates. Her mother's a graduate. My grandmother was a graduate. I got my master's degree here, so and we live 5 blocks away, so we're very familiar.
He could be like an off-campus commuter, but he's like literally. I'm sure you probably have college students that live like on university.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like,
right.
Or not? You're not on university.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say your address.
Well, I
anyway
appreciate that. That's right.
But like over in the Ridge, I guess is
that's
the
what
more
you say. Sure.
the easiest way to put it. Over in the Ridge, there are many students that rent houses over there. So he could be like one of these off-campus students,
it's
but
funny.
he's not really. It's just his home.
We had a conversation about that, and because my wife lived off campus most of her college career.
Yeah, same.
And I lived on campus most of my college career. And I will say that I think I'd like him to live on campus, just because it's such it's really your first taste of freedom, And, the things I was able to do my freshman and sophomore year, I would never have been able to do if I was still at my parents' house or something like that. Not that don't get me wrong.
I'm not sure what you're referencing here. We won't go
I'm not even talking about, shenanigans or anything like that. I'm just talking about studying until 1 o'clock in the morning.
No, it is. It's a very different feel.
Things like that. Being with your friends all hours of the day. That first sense of your personal responsibility. And we know that that's things that people get in trouble with sometimes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's an organization like yours on campus, like you were saying. The Newman House is open all summer long for the most part, because you had commuters who were popping in here in the summertime. You had what you're saying, like a regular. You had 10 people in there today.
Yes,
and you're not even open yet.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're open for our light schedule, but we're not open, as far as the semester, because it didn't start yet. But it's funny because being in ministry over the last 15 plus years in the diocese, I've had a lot of students that have been from the Glassboro, Williamstown, Washington Township area, and then they tell me, "Oh, I'm going to Rowan." I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And they say, "Yeah, I'm living on campus." And it's like, I've heard that so many times. I just kind of chuckle because I'm like, that's really funny, because I'm a North Jersey girl that came away for school and lived here, and to kind of hear that is like, oh, that's kind of funny. But at the same time, I've heard it over and over again for that same reason, because I want that quote-unquote experience, the college experience, and I completely can understand that and relate to that. At the same time, you get to go home, do your laundry whenever you want.
Now that is what I told
great.
Jack. I said that's the one upside, Jack, is that if you do go to Rowan, and he's going to 5 different schools to take a look at. But I said, but if you do end up going to Rowan, you're not allowed to have a car on campus, but your car will be 5 blocks away.
Right.
So, you could live on campus and walk back anytime you need it. So,
I had a friend like that, and I remember freshman year, we were not allowed to have cars on campus. And I remember saying, like, I just need to get to, like, CVS. And then this other art store I had to go to because I was an art major, like, that to get the supplies. I was like, can your mom drive us? And you're, like, only, like, 10 minutes away. Like, you love those friends that had, like, family right here that they could, like, drive you, because I felt stranded for a little bit. So he'll be that friend for a lot of freshmen if he ends up being here.
Yeah,
like,
we'll see what happens.
Does he have a car?
No, not yet.
Okay.
He just got his permit, so we
Be careful
driving around the ridge, because he's out there
if I see you in the passenger seat, I'm gonna laugh.
That's right.
Mike, like, holding on for dear life.
No, I am. My intention is to be very chill as he's learning how to drive.
It's usually the moms. My mom was crazy. My dad was good.
Jack has said that he's enjoyed driving with me, so I don't. But he doesn't like my car. He likes my wife's car better. So we'll have to see. I don't know. But this is not why we're talking. We're
talking about
today.
summer stuff, not fall.
No,
we're in fall mode probably already, but it's still summer.
It's still summer, and I was thinking about this. The episode for today is probably one we should have done in the spring. So I'll have to make sure that I repost it in the spring to remind people. But we're talking about...
I was going to say we could always do another one.
Or we can do that as well. But this is the perfect time to do this episode. So this episode is all about Vacation Bible School. And we brought in 2 experts.
Yes.
Because amazingly, with all of your experience, you've never done VBS before.
I never headed it up.
Right. You've never... Right. Exactly. It's not one of the rare things for all of your youth group experience.
Yeah.
Not a VBS person. And the last time I had anything to do with VBS was 4th grade in 1984, maybe. So that would have been the...
Yeah, and that's really, just to kind of right off the bat say, as someone who's been in ministry for many years, it usually doesn't overlap so much with a youth ministry position, although you might get some of your volunteers from there, and we can talk about that. But it overlaps a little bit more with DREs. And we could probably get into that a little bit more because we have one with us today.
Yeah, those directors of religious education?
Correct.
Yes. We have to be good. We have to be careful because I've been re-listening to some of our podcasts. We have been getting into jargon a little bit, which is not fair to the listeners.
Oh,
so we gotta.
It's so hard when you work so closely in the church with it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like anything, what
Just
you
the
look and
nature
you
of
start doing all the initials. So thank you, Mike, for reminding us.
Every time you say or anybody else says VBS to me, I have to think about what they're talking about. And they're like, Vacation Bible School.
Right.
That makes perfect sense.
No, it's very true. And also, they're called faith formators sometimes as well. Is that right? The director of faith formation.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've heard that term, and I've been hearing faith formation more than religious education these days in church circles. So
it's probably more accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that being said,
we got our
who do we have with us today?
Yeah. So we have 2 experts in the field.
Yes.
2 dear friends of mine who I've known for many years working in ministry. So I'm really excited to be on air with these lovely ladies. So first we have with us the award-winning podcast host, back for the second time in a couple weeks, Laurie Power.
That is
so
true.
welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, it's a lot of Laurie Power in this over the last 3-4 weeks.
I guess so. I don't know. Something about the summer.
Yeah.
I've been busy.
Well, thank you for making so much time to spend it with us.
Yes, and she's doing a lot of amazing things, and they're worthy to be crossing over
absolutely.
onto our podcast as she continues doing great things on Talking Saints podcast as well.
Mm-hmm. By the way, who's your most recent Talking Saint about?
I don't even remember who it was.
Oh, Lord.
It's been a long week.
I throw you a softball.
VBS.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
You are in VBS mode, and I have to remember that.
And then we
But
also
that's
have
okay.
with us Julie LaRosa, who is here, and she holds many different titles. So I'll let her introduce herself because, as we mentioned, Laurie is director of faith formation at Christ the Redeemer and ACO Church here in our diocese. But Julie has her hand in probably, 4 different churches.
4 different churches, faith communities.
So if you
want
want
to
to
diocese. So hi everybody, Kari, Mike, Laurie. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
A returning guest, we might say.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for having me back. I'm excited to be back. So I most recently did Vacation Bible School at Our Lady of Peace Parish, which is our home parish. My 2 children attend St. Michael's School, so we're part of that community. We are... I am a Catholic school teacher in Cherry Hills, so there's Christ Our Light Parish, and then I do some youth ministry work at Church of the Holy Family in Washington Township. So it really is a more like a diocesan role, I guess.
Yeah.
I go where I'm needed, or where I feel called and where I'm called. So
Amazing.
That is, and we will work you into the ground because there's needs everywhere, and you're so dynamic that we require you at every place. Any chance you could be omnipresent? Just a little bit of godlike powers that you could take over.
I'll try. I'll see what I can do.
All right, let's see if
I'll see what God has planned for me.
Okay, there we go. But no, this is Vacation Bible School time. Actually, you're Laurie. You're in the midst of it right now,
correct.
And you finished it just how long ago?
We finished about 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So you're still in that sense. You were telling me how you were early before the podcast started about how you were breaking stuff down and sending stuff back.
Just kind of finishing up, tying loose ends up, and really getting ready for next year. Believe it or not, already.
Yes. So I've had the pleasure of working with Julie the last 2 years because Our Lady of Peace Parish is also my home parish as well. And so I've gotten to kind of be on her team And I must say, it's nice to not have to lead a team. I'm like, just tell me what to do, Julie, and I'll do it. But then, of course, the person in me that has run things, I'm always like, can we do this? Can we do that? And Julie must be like, Kari, shut up.
No, I actually love it because I feel like a lot of time with Kari's experience being at Our Lady of Peace for so many years, if I have questions about certain things, Kari knows all the answers.
Yeah.
And she is a wonderful part of helping to get to know the people, the volunteers. We've only been parishioners at Our Lady of Peace 4 years, which sounds like a long time, but it does take time to build relationships and to get to know people. So having Kari there as a presence has been such a blessing because people know her and they have a sense of comfort coming into Vacation Bible School, and it's really been a nice team effort. I feel like Kari and I have this summer friendship, and I look forward to it every year.
I know. And I wish we weren't so busy that we could have friendship school year, but it's like,
I know,
your
it's
sons
a
are
little
at St.
harder.
Michael. One of the benefits of being on the team, I think, and working is because my son is going to first grade at St. Mary's, and so we're pulling a lot of those students that he knows, and I know the families because my son's in class with them, or because of me volunteering at St. Mary's School and knowing those families. So that's been a really helpful dynamic and part of Vacation Bible School over at Our Lady of Peace, which might look a little different over at Christ the Redeemer because there is no school there. So maybe if you could talk a little bit about the families that come and where you're pulling from, because that's the first part, is getting the campers
getting them through the door
to sign up. Yes, and through the door is, I think, a big. It was big at Our Lady Peace because we had a 5-year hiatus due to COVID and other things. So last year we were kind of working through that, and we got to a good place this year. But how does it look like for you over at Christ Redeemer?
Most of our kids are religious ed students.
Okay.
So I would pull from the students that come during the year. Though this summer surprised me, about a quarter of the kids I did not know. So literally it's parents telling other parents or family members, our kids are going to this. Your kids should come too because it's fun and they have a good week and it's inexpensive. And
I think that's a big part of it.
Yes.
The price. It's huge.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what your cost was?
I think it was
per camper?
$30 a child.
Okay.
Yeah.
that
But they
is
get
great.
a t-shirt, the snack every day. Yeah.
Free babysitting.
Yeah, pretty much for the
I'm
morning.
talking from a mom's point of view.
Yes. So it's good.
So before we get too far down this path, I have a very basic question to ask.
Yes.
What is Vacation Bible School, and what's the point?
What is Vacation Bible School? So it is a week of getting to know God's Word on a level that children could understand, but it also incorporates music, crafts, a really fun snack, games, and then, of course, the lesson, which is actually typically woven throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
So they get the theme throughout.
And why do we do it?
We do it well. This year in particular, it stood out to me as we are bringing children into our parish that would never step foot otherwise.
Really?
Oh, yes. There
Wow.
are children I have never seen before walked in this year and had a positive experience. So we are evangelizing.
Well, that doesn't surprise me because when I was a kindergartner, I went to VBS at a Presbyterian school because that was the only place in town that had VBS. And I might say, to your point, my parents used it as babysitting.
Hey, that's all right.
Which
You heard the word of
I
God
did.
all week.
I did, and yet still did not become a Presbyterian, so I'm very proud of that. So how long does each day of Vacation Bible School
Ours
last?
is only 3 hours, so 9:30 to 12:30.
What about you guys?
And ours is 9 to 12, although we are considering expanding a little next year just to give us a little bit more time with the program. Each parish or church will use a different program just based on which one they choose. And that's another thing that I don't know if people are aware of. There are companies that this is what they offer. They create Vacation Bible School programs, different programs, different themes. You choose a program and then you follow the program, or you can adapt it to your own needs. You pull different parts, whatever's going to work for your community. And then you facilitate it. You bring it to life for the kids, for the families.
With a lot of volunteers.
A lot of volunteers. You really do need the volunteers because They embrace it. They make it their own. And especially the teen volunteers. We could not do Vacation Bible School without the multitude of teen volunteers that come out to help us.
Correct, yeah.
Because they're good role models for the little campers. Plus, they're learning themselves, but everybody's having fun.
Yeah.
And I know you had said, why do we do what we do? We do it because I think the kids have such a good time and they learn about their faith, but in a way that is just fun and it's on their level. And they have such good memories about it.
Yes.
And they're happy. All week, they're happy. Everybody's happy.
I was shocked my first day of VBS last year volunteering, because I had never volunteered before, because as mentioned earlier, I did youth ministry, which was very different than the summer Vacation Bible School, which was led by a whole different group of people at the time. And I was like, are these kids going to really like this? Like these songs, you know, because it skews younger than youth ministry. We started this year with preschoolers. Some start with kindergarten age, going into kindergarten. I think potty trained is a must for any Vacation Bible School. That's what I've seen kind of across the board. But you can start as young as 3 years old and go really up to around 5th grade or so. And they are engaged. They love it. They talk about it. And the one thing I hear all the time from the 5th graders is, I can't wait to come back next year and volunteer.
Wow.
And it's incredible to
They
see
love it.
how excited they are over it. And you would think, like, all right, like they can be going to like their town camp, they can be going to baseball camp, and some do, like they take different weeks. We have right in our town in Williamstown a very big private camp. Tall Pines Day Camp is there, which, you know, it pulls a lot of our young campers that they could be going there and doing archery and all these kinds of things. But the ones that come to Vacation Bible School, like, they're into it. They love it. They're excited. It's just amazing to see it unfold during the week. Mike, I would love to have you come by one day, because you just hear joy throughout the gym. Like, it's incredible.
They love it. They get into it.
Yeah.
They're so excited. And what Kari had said, I can't wait to come back. How many more years? My oldest son will be going into 4th grade this year, and he's already telling me, Mom, when I get to be, you know, how old do I have to be to help? I want to help. I want to be there. And it just, I think having all the people that really bring that joy out, it's contagious. The kids love it. And then, Laurie, I'm not sure how you end your week, but our week ends with the campers performing one of the main theme songs. And then we have a little barbecue after. And so at the end of the day, we're there with 200-300 people. All the kids are having a great time. Families are they're
Happy,
enjoying themselves, and
yeah.
it's just a great week of the summer.
Yeah.
Oh, that's delightful. How do you end yours, Laurie?
We also end, we have a closing mass that we invite everyone to.
Oh, I like the mass.
Yeah,
I
and
noted
it's
for
interesting
next year.
because we do have some non-Catholic attendees, and yet the parents even come because
Yeah.
the kids
Yes.
are
Yeah,
there.
of
And then we
course.
do the little performance and then the party at the end as well. Yeah, and it's like chaos, but it's great.
So,
It's joyful chaos.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
so what were your themes this year?
So we did scuba, diving into friendship with God.
Aw.
So it was all about under the sea and all the little characters and the songs, and it was a very ocean theme.
Very ocean theme, yeah.
That's good for summer.
And,
Yes.
and it's something to be noted. You see, the theme carries through from the decorations. The moment you walk into the door, like decor is everywhere, from
Top
floor to
notch.
ceiling, all the way into the crafts, into the games, into some groups even do it into the snacks. You know, the most we got was like the goldfish snacks.
The
And
goldfish
we
snacks
didn't do
and
too
the
much.
teddy bear cupcakes with the little life preservers.
Oh yeah, they were cute too. Yeah, so it's tied in throughout. It's not just like we're gonna do like talk about Jonah because we're doing scuba theme. Like it's tied in through everything.
I'll be honest with you. All I could
soup
think
to
of
nuts.
was Jonah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Right down to even the games that they play.
Yep.
To the science experiments that they do, everything connects. So it builds as the week goes. And it starts with the preschool program has their own activities that they do that are more age appropriate.
Correct.
And then the older kids have their own program as well. But then some of the companies, like groups that we use, they even offer a teen program. So
Oh,
for
wow.
like middle school and high schoolers, which is something that we're looking to add in the coming years over at Our Lady of Peace.
I'm just impressed that there was Vacation Bible School has a science project component.
Oh, you
That's
would love it, Mike.
that
They
sounds
actually
awesome.
are pretty
They're pretty
impressive.
intense,
Yeah,
yeah.
like it is. It's very cool. It's very
Oh,
cool.
wow,
Like
very
you
excited.
would be into it.
That, have a whole new appreciation. So what was your theme this year, Lori?
Cathletics.
Cathletics.
Training to be champions for Christ.
Oh,
Like,
that is awesome.
it was good. It's
Is
one
that
of
a
my
custom
favorite.
one or?
This is Cat Chat. So I am a diehard Cat Chat fan
right.
because it is Catholic VBS through and through.
Okay, nicely done.
So a little plug for our Canadian friends up there, the family that creates them. Yes. So
This is also a pro-Canada podcast, so I'm totally on board with this so far. Yeah, oh yeah.
So yeah, I just like because throughout it is like discipleship. Like, okay, so the game plan is we're going to follow the greatest commandment, and then if we're going to be champions, we have to know the rules, the 10 Commandments. And then today it was when we do that, we're going to live the fruits of the Spirit. So that ran throughout the whole theme. Like we had fruit at the snack station,
Yep.
singing about it. So yeah, this is one, and they can connect to it because all of them are athletes. Like I said at the beginning, how many of you are? Yeah, and then we can make all the analogies between training for your sport versus training for
It's so helpful.
following the Lord.
So
Yeah.
what are your age groups?
4 to 5th grade as well.
Okay, and same?
We do pre-K 3
Okay,
up to going into 5th grade.
Yep.
in the 5th grade.
Yeah, so that's about. I think once you get past there, they're definitely like even some of the 5th graders not as engaged as others. Girls 5th graders tend to be more engaged than the boy 5th graders. At least what I saw. I run the art room with Julie over at Our Lady of Peace. So I only see that component in the art room, in the arts and crafts. So, but maybe in the games, the guys might be more engaged.
Yes,
probably different. Probably different in each room.
That 5th grade year is so tough because they're a little bit older where they want to help, but
They're not ready.
seen over the years they're not quite ready. So we really try to let them just have this great experience, but talk them into, well, next year you can help.
Exactly.
Think about what you want to do next year because they're on that cusp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want to be there and they want to help, but they're still young and they want to still have fun as a camper.
Yeah.
So, and Lori, if I can for a second, I know you mentioned that the company you use is a Catholic company. That's another thing with the company we use, Groups, which I love. By the way, I've been a groupie since 2004 is when I did my first VBS, all the way back to Lava Island. So what I do remember it. So, but what I like about Groups is that it is not Catholic based, but we take the program and then we add our own Catholic components.
Yes.
So, for example, in our Bible study area that we had, we brought in a saint of the day for the kids. So we weave those little parts of Catholicism into the program as a whole, but it isn't Catholic based, but we make it Catholic.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and there's a lot of leeway to be able to do that.
There is, which is what I love about the program.
Yeah, I found that as well, being able to like using it, and it's so the Groups is I'm sure the way it sounds for you, Lori, is the same with yours, but it's so well put together that it's almost like to walk away from it would be hard because you have everything from the backdrop to the science experiment
To the
t-shirts and it's like kind of saves a lot of time with getting all those other extra components made, but also has so many gaps in it that you can add. Like in our art room, we've done rosary making. I talked about the miraculous medal the one day. We talked about St. Michael. We talked about stained glass windows and the ones in our church versus the little Jesus fish one that we were making and what looks different about them. And we did a lot of different, very Catholic things to be able to make it our own.
Right.
And that was really great.
Yeah. And they pray, we start the day with a prayer. We talk about the crucifix versus a regular cross. And then before they eat, they always do their grace before meals. So there's a lot of room to add those Catholic components. But like Kari did say, Groups is just so well put together that it's silly to walk away because they have everything.
Yeah.
And then we can use that as a base and then create from there.
I wonder if parishes realize how turnkey this product is. That it sounds like it's pretty self-contained for both of them, right? It's the same deal with you, Lori, right?
Yeah, you get everything you need to make it happen.
I would definitely try to promote it more, especially through this podcast, but I would caution you that it is a huge commitment.
Yes. It's a lot.
It is
a lot of work, and you need a big team to make it happen.
Yes,
it had to be something kind of coming out of a program that was already really strong with volunteers.
Yeah.
And strong volunteers, because
Yes.
if you do not have them, it would fall apart. It would be
those
tough.
strong, committed volunteers who are willing to start working on it. Laurie, I'm not sure when you start working on yours. We start working on ours in February.
Oh, wow.
We start getting the teams together. We get the manuals. We get the orders. Groups already has their programs out for next year that you can pre-order. We already know our theme. So it is, it is something that you work on year round to promote. And then you really do start the hard work in February of just figuring out who your volunteers are going to be, what supplies do you need, how do we want to start decorating, like creating the decorations, because that's a big part of VBS too, are those decorations. It's really this like all-inspiring, all-in week for the kids. And Kari, I'm going to give you a shout out. Kari created these beautiful balloon arches for the kids and for different parts of the program, which really, again, made it come to life for all the campers.
Yeah, it was exciting.
And the helpers' families took pictures in front of them. We did a lot of great things with them. So it really does, the theme is just all-encompassing.
Yeah. And I think it's helpful to kind of immerse the young campers into it. It really helps to kind of bring them into this immersion experience versus, oh, this is the school I go to and now we're in the gym,
Yeah.
and it's summertime. Like, it really does change the whole look and feel of the gym and the hallways and the classrooms and any, like, right down to the windows when they walked in had, like, bubbles on them. Like, everything looked differently.
That's
Now,
true.
for both of you, it's 1 week during the summer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All
just
right.
1 week.
And you know what we hear? You probably hear this.
Yeah.
Can it be 2?
Why can't it be longer?
Can it be 3? I don't want it to end. And I'm like,
But no,
Is it the kids saying that or the parents?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Oh, you should run 2 weeks. Or
Yeah.
you should. And honestly, I think part of the fun of VBS and just the joy of it is that it is just that 1 week. And people have already started asking, when is it next year? So we can book our vacation around it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
People really do embrace it. I mean, even when we restarted it last year after the hiatus from just everything going on in the world, we had a small group of kids because it was just coming back. And we just doubled, we tripled, we quadrupled. We were close to 100 kids this year. And the word is spreading. People are getting excited. They already want to know, well, what week is it? Because we want to make sure that our kids can do it next year. They
Right.
had such a good time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And
Yeah.
it's important, and it's really inspiring to see the parents who are willing to book their vacation around it, who are willing to make it a priority for their child to go. And I always use that as my encouragement because this means something to all these families. Like, look at what this 1 week is providing for not only these kids, but for the parents.
Yeah.
Because the parents are getting fed too.
Yes.
I was going to ask about that because something Laurie said sort of made me think about that. It was you have non-Catholics being a part of it.
Correct.
No doubt using it because they, number one, possibly believe in Vacation Bible School, and there's not one in their faith nearby, but also some place to put the kids for,
Right.
3 hours a day.
What I would say is there are families that just send their kids from Vacation Bible School to Vacation Bible School.
Yeah, those do
So
exist.
these children had come from another VBS.
Get out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's interesting. Well, I'll tell you, when I don't know what you've done with this, Kari, but for me, when my son was of that age, we got lucky that his school had summer school all year long that started at like 8 a.m. and went till 3 p.m. and then we paid extra money so that he could stay a little later. So I always felt bad for Jack actually because basically he was in school year round.
That sounds so sad.
I know it is.
It's summer school or summer camp?
It was summer. I'm sorry, summer camp.
Okay,
Summer camp.
it was
So it was summer.
camp.
So it was fun stuff, but it was
Okay.
still in school.
You were still at the school building.
And I actually looked forward to when he was finally old enough that wasn't going to be the case anymore. But had we not found that, I believe I would have been a Vacation Bible School jumper, even just to get the 3
Yeah.
hours in. Because there is a logistical element to this for a lot of
of
parents
course.
that can use a 3-hour break or whatever. But I also have to believe that logistics aside, that there is an evangelization to that.
Yes.
That
yeah.
we talk about that a lot about how kids bring the faith home to their households. Because let's face it, most parents are not like us in the sense that we're adults who are focused on the Catholic faith constantly. Most of them were like what I was like back in the secular years. I thought about my faith on Sunday mornings, and the rest of the day it didn't pop up very often. This is a great opportunity to do that and show something I've been talking about for years, and you've heard this 1,000 times over, the joy of the Catholic faith, the fact that it isn't morose. It is it is. I mean, you live that every single day about the joys of the Catholic faith, Kari, and everything you do here and everything you did prior in your youth groups. And I think it's important that parents see that. And one of the ways they see that is through their kids. So, you're doing a great job of evangelizing through the young people.
Well, one of their favorite songs this week, the end of the refrain is clap 3 times and say no to sin. So I am sure they are going home and singing that around their houses.
That's great.
So yeah.
Nice.
And it's their favorite song. I'm like, really? Like, it's not even the theme song.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they'll be singing it at the, the
Well,
party
kid
for the
doesn't want to
parents.
clap 3 times.
I know. And say no to sin.
Yep.
Let's hope so.
That's no doubt what that is, Laurie. But that it is little things like that,
Yeah.
and they're not little and they're not insignificant, but they are things you don't think about in your daily life, and then suddenly there it is. I will now think about the next time my son is going to do something stupid. Hey, clap 3 times, and then say no to sin. All right.
And one of our little boys, I think he's going into 1st grade this year. And the first day, he was just having a rough day, and he wanted to leave with his grandmom dropped him off. So she did take him home and called mom, and mom was like devastated. She's like, "No, he loves this. You got to drive him back and just stay there until he's okay." And so, sure enough, she brought him back, and he's fine now.
Oh,
and yeah,
that's good.
it was like the highlight of the summer. So
Now with the non-Catholics attending yours, have you seen more questions, or
they just take it all? The kids take it all in. Like the first VBS that I did recently was all about Mary. So we were talking about the rosary, and one of our little 4-year-olds, who I knew was not Catholic, by the end of the week, we're asking, "What's the prayer we pray where we think about Jesus and ask Mary to pray for the rosary?" Like, so, raising her hand and answering the question. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So maybe some OCIA signups
Maybe
coming
in the future.
from
We'll
the parents.
Now wait a second. We just talked about that.
I know.
Nobody's
I was gonna
OCIA
stop.
is.
I was gonna stop actually as soon as
explain that.
Laurie stopped
Okay.
laughing. So OCIA is the new RCIA, which was Rite of Christian Initiation of Adults, and it's now changed to Order of Christian Initiation of Adults.
I'll be honest with you.
And that is for anybody wanting to enter into the Catholic faith, or for anybody who never completed all their sacraments of initiation, which would be baptism, communion, and confirmation. So there's the explanation of the acronym that we just threw out there for all of our listeners. And for you, Mike, what is the question you have?
I was just about to say, and dear listeners who are saying, "What the OCIA?" Listen, I didn't know what it was either, and I'm the director of communications, so this stuff is all. They keep changing everything.
They do, and I'm still getting used to it. It changed, I think, 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I've actually kind of was like, I'm not changing it. I'm so used to RCIA. And then I finally was like, all right, I really need to change this, because now everything that comes out through the diocesan offices is all OCIA, and then we really need to start putting it out there. So everything that I have it on for this year coming in for our new students is R changed to O.
One of our listeners is right now pounding on the table saying how stupid it is that it changed from RCIA to OCIA.
I was too.
And listen,
I was like, why? Why are we changing this?
hey, listen, they change things in the Mass all the time.
Yeah.
I think we can live with this.
Yeah. It's just more particular to what it should be stating. I don't know if
it's more relevant.
That's the way I heard it explained. That's enough for me.
That's a good enough explanation. Because, people coming in don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
People coming into the church.
Yeah.
Because we have people sign in, and the one guy's like, "What do I write again? Why am I here?" It's
Yeah.
like, "Put sacraments. You're preparing for sacraments."
Yeah. All you need to know is that you are becoming Catholic,
Exactly.
and you're getting graces from these sacraments. The more important thing, who cares what it's called?
Well, that
join
is
us.
100% accurate, because it really is the end result that's the important part. But it is funny that we all have the exact same opinion. Yeah.
We obviously did not make that decision.
No, and we almost collectively, I can say the number of times at least the 3 of us have agreed on something is almost never.
Yeah.
So the fact that
So here we go.
there we go. Look at that. Finally found something after 8 years of working here. So we talked a lot about how sort of intensive it is to get it started. Yes. You are in the midst of it right now, Laurie.
Yes.
Julie, you just recently finished it. How long does it take you to come down off of it and then sort of get everything ready, packed up, done with, give yourself a break?
Sure. So I'm going to say that I am very blessed, and it's kind of amazing in a way. And again, it's going to go back to that big team effort. It takes us about a week to set everything up. Okay, by the time we pull everything, get everything, organize it, it's pretty big.
Lots of Amazon orders.
Lots of Amazon orders. That Amazon truck is at the house daily. But to clean up, to physically clean up, we are always cleaned up and out of there by 3:00.
Oh, wow.
On the last day of VBS. Because everybody, it is hands-on.
Yeah.
And not only the volunteer team, but the parents that have stayed for the barbecue and the end of the week party, everybody pitches in. And we clean it up. Now, in terms of coming down from the VBS excitement, it usually takes about a week or two because there are some loose ends to tie up, especially if you have returns to do, receipts to reconcile, service letters to write for your kid, for the helpers. So I would say about a week or two.
Okay.
And then you kind of settle, and then you start thinking of next year because then you have to pick your week. You have to... Honestly, I've already kind of confirmed with a couple people, hey, you're in for this next year, right? Like you're on board. And then the people thinking even bigger, hey, we want to add this program, so we've got to find people to do it. We have to get them safe environment trained. We have to, just really decide what are some things that we can do now that are going to make it easier for us.
Come the time where you
come the new year when we really have to start kicking this into gear.
Yeah.
And they actually brought up something, for parishes who haven't done this yet or are listening to this and considering it. That safe environment training is no joke. The Catholic Church is very hardcore about that. And no matter what diocese you're a part of, you need to make sure that your people who are going to be working with young people are safe environment trained, as well as background check, fingerprinted, that whole bit. Because, there's no bringing somebody in. You can't have somebody like, oh, I'll stop in for an hour and give you a hand. It's got to, all that stuff has to be figured out beforehand. And I know for a lot of people that can be difficult, but, it's the world we live in now, and we got to make sure that the sins of the past don't happen again. And that's one of the ways we do it.
And we've been speaking about evangelization, and a lot of times when that question comes up, are you safe environment trained? Are you cleared? And people aren't, I try my best to use it not as a deterrent, but more of a, let's get you all set so that you can come and help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because some people do get, and I don't know if you've had this experience, Laurie, people get a little bit put off by it sometimes, or they feel like it's a big mountain to climb and all they want to do is help.
Yep.
So I try my best that let's not make it a mountain, let's make it a little hill, but I'm going to walk with you, we're going to get it done, and then you're going to get to come help and be a part of this.
Yeah. Oh, and you're absolutely right. And it actually is useful training in the sense
absolutely.
Because it's stuff you'll be able to use the rest of your life.
And once you're in, and then you just do your
5-year
re-ups every couple years. The safe environment coordinator in your parish will handle it for you. But it's really making sure that all those pieces are set ahead of time. And then, Laurie, I don't know if you use this word too, but then I always tell them, well, now you can help with other things.
Yes, I've always said that as well. I'm like,
well, now you're all set
you're
to help
clear. You could go in the lunchroom.
Yeah, you can help anywhere. You can help with children's liturgy. You can help with sacrament prep.
Youth group, whatever you want.
You're in now.
So basically, you're just using this as a way of getting approved volunteers. I like it. This is nice. This is good.
You have to think smarter, not harder.
That's right.
Exactly. And working with youth all these years, I know you, Laurie, myself, everyone here in this room, we've all worked with youth on many different levels of capacity. That is one of the biggest stumbling blocks because you have these good volunteers and they're not set, and you have this big event coming up, but you need only the ones that are cleared. So once you are in, it is a great. You have that good volunteer and you can lean on them and pull them in for the different groups. You use some of your children's liturgy or whatever it is, you got them and you know who they are. And that's key because we had last year and this year, we had a couple people we had to turn away that were good volunteers, solid volunteers, but they just...
Good hearts, they wanted to help. They had grandchildren in the program or children. Yeah. But without that safe environment piece, you just can't.
And this was one of the hard ones, and this is one of the ones to remember, is that ones that are newly turned 18.
Oh,
they helped when they were 17.
Yep.
The only difference is their age changed, and they don't realize there's ways that you need to now follow.
Yeah,
right. That was difficult, but. We're gonna have a bigger team next year because of some of those ones that we had to turn away.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And people used that as a springboard to go get their training now.
Yes.
So they're ready.
Yeah.
Like they're already ready. And at our parish, a lot of the people that help with Vacation Bible School help with children's liturgy of the word during the year. So we just move into the next phase of ministry for the young church. So we do VBS, now we do children's liturgy, and it springboards and it just keeps going. So it ends, but it doesn't end.
Yeah.
But it keeps that community together, and it's really wonderful because there's that excitement, there's that group of people, and it just grows.
Yeah, and familiar faces for the young people.
Absolutely.
Who, like, all right, I know Miss Julie, or I know Miss Kari, or I
Yeah.
know Miss Laurie. Like, they're very familiar who you are.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it helps them feel comfortable that they want to leave their parents to come to children's liturgy during Mass or to sign up for VBS. I saw one of our VBS campers. My boys did a soccer camp last week. And while we were there were a couple kids from VBS. And it was so funny because they stopped in their tracks and looked at me. And I said, "You're trying to figure out where you know me from, right?" I said, "We go to the same church." "Oh, from VBS," so they can make those connections, but they see you around and it's great, because they have that connection to you.
So, going back to the most recent Vacation Bible Schools that you've both been currently doing, do your pastors play a large role in this at all, or is it, or do you have like lay ministers? I know both of you are lay ministers, but
So yes, our pastor is he'll come and see the kids, come and talk to them. Ours is a full service VBS, so they also have a confession opportunity if they would like. I get all my teens to go.
Wow.
I have kids that I think they only go during VBS. And wait, somebody said something to me today. Like, they didn't give you a problem. Like, all the kids. I said, "Here's your schedule. Like, here's when you can go over so you don't leave your kids and alone." And they're like, "Okay." And they all went over and went to confession today.
I've
Noted.
never heard of that before.
That
Laura,
is
Carrie,
great.
and I are like looking at each other.
My wheels
we're
are
like making
spinning.
mental notes for next year. Like,
That's great,
We would
Lori.
love to offer this for the kids.
Yes.
This is
Wow.
great.
Okay.
I mean, last year I didn't plan enough time. I did it right before Mass. That's why we started today. And my third and fourth graders were begging me, "Please, Miss Power, can I go to confession?" I was like, "We don't have time. I'm sorry." So yeah, they want to go.
Wow,
They
that
do.
is wonderful.
They do. There's something so beautiful about the very younger group, because there's just such an openness.
Yeah.
And I almost want to say to them, please remember this when you're 13, 15, 17.
52.
Because, anything beyond, the years that they're at, because there's really a beautiful, innocent joy that is present there. And it's really nice to witness and beautiful to see. So planting those seeds is really a big part of it, because I've had some students recently say to me, like, "Oh, you were doing VBS. I remember when I went to VBS." And they'll harken back to those memories that were just so joyful and pure and beautiful. And that's what you're giving them. That's really what you're giving them, especially with the component of the sacrament of confession. That's beautiful.
That's wonderful.
We
Oh my
also do a
gosh.
holy hour. Jeff Shields came yesterday to lead that for us. Now,
very nice.
we have to work that out because the 4-year-olds literally can't handle more
it's
than 10
hard.
minutes.
Yeah.
So
Sure, right, of course.
So they were okay.
Only
but-
5 minutes for them.
That's all.
Yes.
Yeah. But the older kids are able to sing
Yeah.
along and to pray and to enter into that. So
Wow. Where do you do the holy hour at?
in the church,
Oh, wow.
we just walk them over. Yeah.
Get out. I meant to ask this for both
We
of you.
need more time.
Well, I started off by saying we were considering adding that extra half hour next
Yeah.
year. So any more than that, we'll have to feed them lunch. So we got to,
Yeah,
we
that's
can't
true.
do
That's
too
hard.
much more. But at our parish, our priests were there a couple times during the week.
Oh, Father Peter made sand art.
He did.
He was in the art room making his own sand art. It was great.
He was in with the preschoolers, using the pool noodles, I think, building things and playing in the water table, and had a great time. We started our week off with Mass that our pastor, Father Sanjay, did a special blessing for all the campers and the volunteers. Everybody wore their shirts. So very, very supportive, with it, because I think they see the value in it and the joy.
Yes. Yeah.
And the happiness that it brings these kids and these families. And it really is, it's a week, but it's a week that is so transformative and foundational for these families, because as you said, Kari, people remember, I remember VBS as a kid, and I remember doing that. And a lot of these people did it themselves. Now they're sharing it with their kids. They're passing their faith to their children in just such a pure way, in just such an organic way that really, it's beautiful to watch.
Yeah. I wanted to make a note of the priest coming in too, because it is part of the whole parish life, and
Yep.
you can't just be in the gym and the priest are just in the church. Like, it has to be all together. So we had also Father Naveen come over and do a special blessing of our crucifixes and miraculous medals that were given out at the end to each of the campers, and they loved them. They put them right on. It was beautiful. But our pastor, Father Sanjay, could only be there for the Mass on Sunday, which was very nice and special and a great way to kick off the week. But Julie and I wanted to incorporate him into the week. So we had this like scuba guy that was a huge like 6-foot poster, and we stuck Father Sanjay's face on it, and we called it Scuba Sanjay. And it was great because he would, like, when you walked in, he was right there.
He was right there. The families loved it.
Yeah, they thought it was
You know,
great.
it was the joke. They're like, we thought he was away, or
Yeah.
oh, there he is.
Yeah.
You know?
That
And
is adorable.
the kids loved it too. They were like, that's the priest.
Yeah.
Like, one of the little boys, I've seen him before.
Yeah.
Like, they just loved it. It was such a fun little addition to the week.
Yeah, I have to say, you've been talking. You said each of you have said a couple of times, memories that parents have had. There's a memory of my last vacation Bible school that I attended myself, that I think about all the time. And usually when it's late January, late July, early August, and I can still to this day remember it was an afternoon vacation Bible school, and the sun was beginning to dip into the sky. And I was in the 6th grade classroom of the old St. Catherine's, and which has been expanded much larger now in St. Michael's. But I think now it's the kindergarten room or the pre-K
4.
Yeah, pre-K 4 room.
K4.
And but I remember sitting in there and learning about the apostles, and it was one of the most special, to this
core
day.
memory.
Yeah, it is a core memory of my youth that I will never forget. And I remember I was learning about James and John, and it was like trying to figure out the difference between the two of them. And it was, and then memorizing them all, because that was the first time I memorized all the apostles. But I remember sitting in the classroom. I remember being excited because I was in 3rd grade or 4th grade, and the fact that I got to be in the 6th grade room for class was
That's a big
was
deal.
even bigger.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. So all these memories, we think of this. We've talked about this a couple of times about how there's like logistical benefits to this. That the parents get a little time away from the kids, and the kids have this experience, and they run around a little bit, and they get tired, and all that kind of stuff. And it's a very economical thing to do. But the kids really will be touched by this. I mean, what did I say? I was 3rd grade, It's like,
huge
I'm still
spiritual
remembering
benefits.
it. Yeah.
And that's why we do it, I think.
Yeah.
Especially you two are really the spearheads for it. But I know it's part of my week off, my time off in the summer. And many of the other volunteers are teachers, so it's part of their time off. Julie, you're a teacher, it's part of your time off. And the reason why all of us do is really because we see the spiritual benefit in it. Like, I know that's my driving force. And I get to be there with my son. So a lot of, if you are a parent and you are non-working in the summer, just you don't work, giving of your time and your child's there. And one of the benefits I know, at least at Our Lady of Peace, maybe it's the same for Christ Redeemer, is if you volunteer, your kid goes for free. So you don't even pay that little small $45 or whatever it is. My son goes for free. So I'm like, all right, added bonus. I'm going to volunteer. So it's kind of nice as well, especially if you have multiple kids. Like, I know a couple parents that had 2 and 3 campers there. Not that it's going to break the bank, but it is nice. It's a nice
And
perk.
it's great for your kids to see you volunteering too, because I grew up, my parents were always involved in our church. And for me, my mom was always running something, doing something, and I was always there. And now it's shifted. Now I'm always there doing something, but then my kids are running around. And literally, they were running around today while we were doing some things at Holy Family. But they're growing up in it, and it's quote unquote normal to them. So my goal for them is that when they get older, like maybe they'll, that they find their place. And that's really what it is, to help them feel that connection to their parish, to the church, to the church as a whole, and then to continue that tradition, to really share the faith in the most practical way with our kids. But they have such a good time doing it.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Yep, I can say
And
the
we
same.
see that joy, that they all have.
Well, I am very excited. You were absolutely right, Kari. I do think we're going to have to do another episode.
We will. I'll make sure to remind you.
Encourage people to, whose kids are of that age, to make sure that that they take advantage of a vacation Bible school. And if you have never had the opportunity to volunteer for something like this, and if you haven't been Safe Environment certified, you've heard all the great reasons why you should, and all the great other capacities you have when you do. So, I really hope that people have taken something away from this episode.
I think we should also note that there's several other churches in our diocese, not just Christ the Redeemer and Our Lady of Peace, that host Vacation Bible Schools. There's several others. So maybe come that spring episode, we can give a good listing for all of them for our listeners.
And if your parish doesn't, by all means, think about being part of a team that helps set one up. It's no small thing. It takes, planning and a lot of work. But I suggest all the time the parishes need to be stealing from other parishes some of these great ideas. So you've heard from two people who have been wildly successful at Vacation Bible School. So I certainly hope you'll consider it if your parish doesn't have it.
Yes.
Well,
they can reach out and contact us. If
Absolutely.
They need help.
Happy to help. And there actually is, within the Diocese of Camden, we have a Vacation Bible School decoration share. So if your parish does the same theme, Diane Scafidi sets it up every year, and there are about 9 churches on the text message, and we share our decorations with each other.
Oh, I love this.
So we all do a different week, we share, we pass along, and we'll talk to each other. As long as you have the same theme, hey, I had extra of this, could you use this? I have extra of that, could you use that? So it really does kind of unite everybody to help each other out, and we offer support to each other, we bounce ideas off of each other, things like that.
That's great.
It's a great little community to be a part of. So join the VBS community.
Well, thank you both for joining us today. We really appreciate that. Kari, thank you for hosting us again today. And to our listeners, we'll talk to you again next week. See you, everybody.
God bless.